Hi guys, today another important topic in this 100 days session, 100 most important topics for the NEET. Okay, today another important topic is the alveolus, the importance of alveolus. Okay, it is the tiny particle which is useful for the breathing and exchange of gases. This is the topic, diffusion of gases across the respiratory membrane, which is NEET zoology. The topic is breathing and exchange of gases, which is that is human physiology, the respiration topic. Okay, yeah, introduction of this. The definition, which is exchange of gases, which is CO2 and O2 between the alveolus and blood capillary, the location which is in the alveoli, which is in the lungs, and the importance of this is important for the cellular respiration. Guys, the alveolar or the like units which is located in the lungs, structural unit which is more important functions going to take place. Okay, if come to the breathing and exchange of gases, exchange of gases mainly CO2 and O2. Mainly the gases are O2 and CO2. These gases exchange. O2 produced at atmosphere by plants, CO2 produced in the metabolic activity in the tissue. Okay, O2 produced in the atmosphere, but CO2 produced in the tissue. If the CO2 accumulate in the tissue, that can be tissue going to become a toxicity will increase in the tissue, that should be eliminated. Okay, oxygen, which is useful for the metabolic activity to break down the food particle. Okay, these gases are exchanged between the mediums. What are the mediums? We are going to discuss it. Okay, guys, in the atmosphere, O2 produce, CO2 produce in the tissue, CO2 produce. So, from the concentration gradients, of these gases can be diffused okay. First, where the carbon dioxide produce, where the oxygen produce. Oxygen produced in the atmosphere, that can be reach lungs. From the lungs they can reach blood. From the blood they can reach tissue. Oxygen primarily they can reach lungs, and from the lungs they can reach blood, and finally reach tissue. Tissue uses oxygen to release CO2. That CO2 enter into the blood. From the blood that can be reach lungs. From the lungs they can exhale into out. This is the transportation of gases, the exchange of gases in the two mediums. Okay, yeah, primarily between the lungs and the blood, oxygen they can diffuse. From the blood to tissue, oxygen diffuse From the tissue to blood, carbon dioxide diffuse. From the blood to lungs, there is a carbon dioxide diffuse. There are two mediums involved in the diffusion of these conditions, these gases. The transport of gases mainly based on these mediums and concentration gradient of the gases. Okay? We are going to discuss about it. Primarily, the oxygen which is reach lungs oxygen can reach lungs. The lungs, the units of the functional units of lungs are alveolus. Alveolus is a singular term. Okay. From the lungs, the oxygen will reach into the blood. There is a blood capillary which is carry the blood into the lungs and take away from the lungs blood. So, this oxygen they can enter into the blood. Okay. From lungs, the oxygen which is enter into the blood, oxygenated blood. They can enter into the blood from the oxygenated blood. And what is the relation between the alveolus and blood vessel? We are going to discuss here. Okay? What is the main role of the alveolus? Okay? Yeah, we have to take one alveolus sac from the lungs. This is the alveolus sac from the lungs. Alveolus. The oxygen which is filled in the alveolus from the atmosphere, oxygen reach alveolus. These are the oxygens particles, they can reach alveolus. That is the oxygen which is the blood vessel which is covered entire alveolus. The blood vessel this is the blood vessel. This is covered entire alveolus. Alveolus. The oxygen which is from the alveolus, they can reach the blood vessel, blood, and the carbon dioxide from the blood to they can reach alveolus. And just look into here, this part which is carbon dioxide from the blood vessel to reach alveolus, this is a deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood mean which is vein, veins carry deoxygenated blood. But this is pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery, they can give the blood into the alveolus. This is the most important. Pulmonary artery, they can carry deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary artery, that can be carry carbon dioxide into the alveolus. This is oxygen which is enter into the blood. This is pulmonary vein. This is this part where the oxygen enter into the blood vessel. This is the blood vessel is pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. This is the reversible blood vessels. The deoxygenated bed, the blood vessel which is carry the carbon dioxide into the lungs, that is pulmonary artery. The blood vessel which is carry oxygen into the blood vessel from the lungs to blood vessel, that is the blood vessel we can call pulmonary vein. Okay? Yeah. So, here okay, they can carry into the two mediums which is alveolus and blood vessel. These gases can transported the process called diffusion. In the human body, where there is a diffusion going to take place, where there is a filter is going to take place, where there is a secretion and absorption is going to take place, there is a tissue which is modified into for the diffusion or filtration or secretion or absorption. That is the tissue we can call epithelial tissue. Okay? That is the tissue we can call epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue. But in these two mediums, there is a alveolus and blood vessel. Is there any epithelial tissue? Epithelial tissue which is types here. There is a epithelial tissue which is walls of the alveolar sac. This is the epithelial tissue. We can call squamous epithelial tissue. Squamous epithelial tissue. And there is a blood vessel. The wall of the blood vessel which is supported by a epithelial tissue, we can call endothelial cells. These are the endothelial cells in the blood vessel. Endothelial cells. Blood capillary. This is the blood vessel mean capillary. Blood capillary. Blood vessel is nothing but there is a pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein. This is the capillary, where the pulmonary artery which is turned into the capillary, pulmonary vein which is turned into the capillary. Capillaries are the structures where there is a diffusion or filtration is going to take place within the capillary, not veins and arteries. They are not involved for the any diffusion or secretion, because of there is a structure is there is a 3-layer structure in the capillary and like arteries and veins and capillaries. Capillaries as 2 layers. Okay? Yeah, just listen carefully here. This is the capillary which is artery or vein. Artery and vein has 3 layers. There is a internal another layer. 3 layers are there. First, tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. Tunica externa, media, and tunica externa. Tunica media is the muscular layer which is not supposed to be for the filter or diffusion. In the capillary, this is the capillary, only two layers are there. There is an absence of tunica media, okay, absence of tunica media. This is the capillary. So, capillary network which is endothelial cells, modified squamous epithelial cells, squamous epithelial tissue, modified squamous epithelial tissue, nothing but there is a endothelial cells in the capillary network. But the squamous epithelial tissue which is supported by a membrane, basement membrane, base membrane, which is supported by base membrane here. Between the two layers there is a base membrane. This is important. Base membrane. Base membrane is the character of the base membrane. Base membrane is acellular, mean non-vascularized. No blood supply. No blood supply is going to take place in the basement membrane. Guys, there is a diffusion is going to take place. They can cross three layers. Diffusion, of gases crossed three layers. One is squamous epithelial tissue, of alveolus, second one is base membrane, and the third one is which is endothelial cells of the capillary. This is the diffusion is going to take place in the alveolus. Guys, just listen careful. There are three layers. Basement membrane is acellular. There is no cellular structure. There is no blood vessel enter into this base membrane. So the base membrane which is carry oxygen through the diffusion process is diffusion. So we are going to quick review about it. Yeah, the exchange between the two gases, just look into here. Yeah, this is blue color is the vein, around the capillary network, red color is the artery around the capillary network. Around the alveolus there is a capillary network which is the capillary origin from the artery which is red, and blue is capillary which is originate from the vein. Okay? Yes. And here there are three main layers which is crossed in the gas exchange alveolus, three main layers which is cross. Okay? What are the three main layers here? Just look into here. Just look into here. This is the alveolar sac. This is the blood vessel. RBCs, red blood cells. They can catch the oxygen. Okay. This is the alveoli. The capillary network around the alveolus, either veins or arteries, artery capillary and vein capillary. Okay. Carbon dioxide. This is the capillary, give the carbon dioxide into the alveolar sac. This is the capillary, they can take the oxygen from the alveolus. Okay? Yes. Here three membrane, the thin squamous epithelium tissue of the alveolus, endothelium is from the blood capillary, base membrane is that is shared by each layer. Just look into here. The base membrane is acellular, this is the most important here. Here most important, this is the avascularized, non-vascularized, mean there is no blood supply in the basement membrane. It is all over the three membranes. This is the most important, less than 1 millimeter. All over these three main layers are less than 1 millimeter. This is PYQ of 2025. The statement which is PYQ of 2025 NEET. The base membrane which is less than 1 millimeter, this is three layers which is less than, the thickness is less than 1 millimeter. This is the statement of PYQ 2025. And the solubility of oxygen and carbon dioxide like which is more solubility 20 to 25 times than oxygen. That is why in the plasma CO2 7% diffuse and O2 is only 3% diffuse. In the plasma they can solute. Okay? This is a dissolve in the plasma. CO2 7% they can dissolve and they can carry forward, and O2 is 3% only. Does it mean 20 to 25% higher solubility of the CO2 than oxygen? Okay, this is important. And next, the direction of movement, the blood vessel, alveolus, blood vessel and tissue, that is O2, and CO2 from the tissue to blood to the alveolus. This is inhalation, this is exhalation. Okay? Yes. Next, favorable condition for the diffusion, the membrane thickness or membrane like thin is the favorable condition, less than 1 mm, and the larger alveolar surface area and moist surface and rich blood supply, high solubility of gases, especially CO2. These are the favorable condition. They can ask you favorable condition like in the statement wise question. Okay? Yes. And NEET MCQs, like NEET important, CO2 diffuses faster than O2, 3 layers are diffusion membrane, thickness is 1 less than 1 mm. This is the important topic for the NEET, guys. Okay? This is the mechanism of alveolus, which is most like importance in the breathing exchange of gases, which is primary site for the exchange gas. That is we can call external respiration. That is we can call external respiration. External respiration between the alveolus and blood, external respiration, and internal respiration. Between the blood and tissue. And cellular respiration. Within the tissue. Oxygen which is utilized break down the glucose, release ATP and CO2. This is cellular respiration. Before external respiration, there is a breathing. Breathing means oxygen rich air enter and CO2 rich air exit. Mean inhale, inhalation, oxygen rich air, and exhalation CO2 rich air. This is breathing. External respiration, especially this is the importance of alveolus. Importance of alveolus. Today our topic is importance of alveolus. This is what the alveolus main important topic for the NEET. Thank you.